Hey everyone! Welcome back to Global Coin News, coin hunters and treasure seekers. Listen up because if you blink, you're going to miss what could be one of the biggest money mistakes of your life. Today we are diving deep into one of the most legendary series in American numismatics, the Washington $quarter coins. These small silver and clad coins may look ordinary at first glance, but hidden among them are rare mint marks, low mintage issues, and high-grade gems that have shocked collectors with prices reaching thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. Stay with us until the end, because what you are about to learn could completely change the way you look at the change in your pocket. Before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon, because we bring you daily updates about rare coins, hidden treasures, and valuable pocket change that could make you rich overnight. And trust me, you don't want to skip this video, because every second could reveal a coin worth a fortune. Let's get started. First up, we are talking about the 1998 United States Washington quarter, a coin that many people underestimate, especially when it shows up in a strange black color, worn out, and ugly condition. But what if I told you that sometimes that exact, ugly appearance is what makes collectors stop, stare, and pay serious money? Let's start with the reality. The 1998 Washington quarter wasn't just another random coin. It marked the end of an era, the final year before the famous state quarters program exploded in 1999. That means this coin sits at a historical turning point in U.S. coinage. The design featuring George Washington had already been in circulation since 1932, and 1998 was essentially the last chapter of that long-running classic design. Nearly 896 million coins were minted in Philadelphia alone, which sounds huge, and it is, but here's the problem. High mintage does not mean every coin is the same. Now here's where things start getting interesting and where most people completely lose the plot. You've got a 1998 quarter with a dark, blackened, ugly surface. Most people scream, "Damage! Worthless!" But hold on. Not all black coins are just damage. Some are toned, some are chemically altered, and some could even be the result of missing clad layers or environmental exposure, which can actually attract collectors if the look is unusual and natural. But let's not sugarcoat it, because this is where I get a bit angry. If your coin is just burned, corroded, or destroyed after leaving the mint, it's not rare. It's damage. And damage kills value. Period. Too many people online hype these coins like they're worth thousands just because they look weird. That's nonsense. However, if that black appearance comes from a mint error or unusual metal exposure, that's a completely different story. For example, 1998 quarters with missing clad layers can show strange colors and can sell anywhere from $50 to $500 or more depending on condition. That's real money, not hyped out. Let's talk about the features of the 1998 quarter so you actually know what you're looking at instead of guessing blindly. On the front, you've got Washington's profile, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date 1998. On the back, the iconic eagle design with "United States of America." The mint mark, P, tells you it was struck in Philadelphia. Nothing special until something goes wrong. And when things go wrong? That's where value explodes. We're talking about errors like doubled dies, where letters appear doubled and can sell for hundreds or even over $1,500 in strong examples. Or off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned. Or even the famous wounded eagle error, where a line cuts across the eagle, making it look damaged but it's actually a mint defect collectors love. Now let's bring it back to your black ugly coin. Here's the truth most people won't tell you: condition is everything. A normal circulated 1998 quarter? It's worth about 25 cents to maybe 67 cents. That's it. No magic. No hidden fortune. But if you somehow have a high-grade coin, like MS-66, it can jump to over $1,400 at auction. That's a massive difference, and it all comes down to condition and authenticity. So where does that leave your dark, ugly coin? It sits in a dangerous gray area. If it's just environmental damage, worth face value. If it's a genuine mint error or rare toning pattern, now you're talking real collector interest. But you cannot guess. You must verify. And this is where I get serious, because too many people get fooled. Stop trusting random viral claims. Stop assuming every weird coin is rare. If you think you've got something special, get it checked by professionals like grading services. Because one small detail, just one, can be the difference between pocket change and hundreds of dollars. For collectors out there, here's the reality. You need to train your eyes. Look for real errors, not damage. Use magnification. Check for doubling in the letters. Look for unusual weight or missing layers. And most importantly, learn patience. The market rewards knowledge, not hype. The 1998 P Washington quarter is a millionaire-making coin in most cases. It's common. It's everywhere. But hidden among millions there are a few that stand out. And those few are the ones that can bring in serious money. Next up, the 1967 Washington quarter dollar without mint mark, a coin that often appears in rough, dark, and ugly condition, yet still sparks curiosity among collectors who believe hidden value might be sitting in their drawers right now. Before you dismiss it as just another worn-out 25-cent piece, stay with me, because this coin has a story that connects history, production changes, and collector demand in a way most people never realize. The Washington Quarter series began back in 1932 to honor the first president of the United States, George Washington. It was produced by the United States Mint and quickly became one of the most iconic and widely circulated coins in American history. For decades, these quarters were made with 90% silver, but by the time we reached 1967, everything had changed in a dramatic way. In the mid-1960s, the United States was facing a serious coin shortage. Silver prices were rising, and people were hoarding silver coins, pulling them out of circulation faster than the system could replace them. In response, the U.S. government made a major decision starting in 1965. Quarters would no longer be made of silver. Instead, they were struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition. This change completely transformed the look, feel, and long-term value of these coins. Now let's talk specifically about the 1967 Washington quarter. One of the most interesting things about this coin is that it has no mint mark at all. Unlike earlier coins that might show a D for Denver or S for San Francisco, the 1967 quarter was produced during a special period when mint marks were intentionally removed. This was done to discourage collectors from hoarding certain mint varieties during the coin shortage crisis. So when you find a 1967 quarter today, it naturally comes without a mint mark, and that is completely normal. But what makes it interesting is not just what it has, but what it went through. Many of these coins spent decades in circulation. They were used in vending machines, passed through thousands of hands, exposed to moisture, dirt, chemicals, and heavy wear. That is why you often see them in dark, blackened, and ugly condition. The surface may look damaged, dull, or almost burned. This is usually caused by environmental exposure and oxidation over time, especially on the copper content of the coin. However, despite its rough appearance, the 1967 quarter still carries collector attention, especially when found in high-grade condition or in special mint set form. In 1967, instead of regular proof sets, the U.S. Mint released special mint sets, which contain coins with better-than-circulation strikes. These versions can show sharper details, smoother surfaces, and sometimes even a slight mirror-like finish. When you examine the design closely, the obverse shows George Washington's strong profile portrait facing left, with the word Liberty boldly engraved above and the date 1967 below. On the reverse, you'll see the iconic eagle with outstretched wings, holding arrows and an olive branch symbolizing both strength and peace. Even in worn condition, these design elements still tell the story of American heritage. Now let's talk about rarity and collector demand. The truth is, a normal circulated 1967 Washington quarter is not rare in the traditional sense. Millions were minted, and many still exist today. However, condition is everything in coin collecting. A heavily worn, black-toned coin like the one we are discussing is generally considered low value in the collector market. Most of the time, it remains close to face value unless it has a very unusual error or an exceptional historical feature. On the other hand, coins from 1967 in pristine special mint set condition can attract more attention, especially if they show deep cameo contrast or flawless surfaces. These higher-grade examples are what serious collectors look for, not the heavily damaged ones. So what is the current market value in dollars? In general circulation condition, a 1967 Washington quarter is usually worth around 25 cents to a few dollars at most. Even in worn or darkened condition, it typically does not carry high premium value. Only exceptional mint state or special varieties may reach higher prices, sometimes ranging from $100 to $5,000 or more depending on grade and quality. But extreme values are rare and not typical for standard coins. Now here are some important tips for collectors. First, always check condition carefully. Clean coins or damaged coins usually lose value, so never try to polish or clean them, even if they look black or dirty. Cleaning actually destroys collector value. Second, learn to identify special mint set coins by their sharper strike and smoother surface. Third, always compare your coin with verified grading standards before assuming it is rare or highly valuable. And finally, if you believe you have something unusual like a mint error, double strikes, or unusual coloration, it is always best to get it professionally evaluated. The 1967 Washington quarter dollar is a fascinating piece of American coin history. While most examples, especially worn, dark, and ugly, circulated ones are highly valuable, they still represent an important transition period in U.S. coinage history when silver was replaced and modern coin production truly began. Next up, we are talking about the United States Washington quarter dollar coin from 1989 with the D mint mark, a coin that may look ugly, dark, and worn out with heavy black toning, but still carries attention in today's collector market. Before you dismiss it as just another damaged piece of change, stay with me till the end because this coin has a history, a structure, and a market behavior that might surprise you. The Washington quarter series itself began way back in 1932 to honor George Washington, the first president of the United States. Over the decades, this quarter became one of the most widely circulated coins in American history. By 1989, the United States Mint was producing Washington quarters in massive numbers using copper-nickel clad composition instead of silver. The Denver Mint alone struck hundreds of millions of these coins, making the 1989 D one of the most common quarters ever produced in American coinage history. Despite its massive production, each coin still carries the classic design of John Flanagan, showing George Washington on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse, continuing a legacy that collectors still admire today. Now let's talk about the unique features of this coin. The 1989 D Washington quarter is made of a copper core with outer layers of copper and nickel, giving it that familiar silvery appearance. It weighs around 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. The mint mark, D, is located on the obverse side, just beside Washington's ribbon, indicating it was minted in Denver. In normal condition, this coin looks bright and metallic, but in some cases, due to environmental exposure, oxidation, or long-term circulation, it can develop a dark, almost black toning that makes it look ugly or heavily damaged to the untrained eye. But here is where things get interesting. In the collector world, condition is everything. While billions of these coins were produced, most of them entered circulation immediately and became heavily worn. A coin with extreme black toning, scratches, or environmental damage is usually considered low grade and has no premium value beyond its face value. However, in rare cases where the coin is in uncirculated or near perfect condition despite toning, collectors may still show interest depending on eye appeal and surface quality. The rarity of the 1989 D Washington quarter is actually quite low in general circulation. With a mintage of nearly 900 million coins, it is considered extremely common. However, rarity in coin collecting is not always about how many were made, but how many survive in high-grade condition. Most 1989 D quarters are found heavily circulated, scratched, or discolored. Finding one in pristine mint state condition is rare, and that is where collector demand increases. Some high-grade examples graded MS66 or MS67 have sold for significantly higher prices, reaching hundreds of dollars in rare auction cases. But those are exceptional situations and not typical pocket change examples. Now let's talk about the current market value in dollars. In normal circulated condition, the 1989 D Washington quarter is worth exactly 25 cents, which is its face value. Even in average uncirculated condition, it usually trades between $100 to $500 depending on quality. However, in top mint state grades like MS67, auction records have shown prices reaching several $100s, sometimes up to around $7,000 or more in rare certified cases. But a heavily worn, black-toned, or damaged coin does not increase in value. In fact, extreme toning or ugly condition often lowers collector interest unless the toning is naturally attractive and collectible. So what should a collector do if they find this coin? First, never clean it. Cleaning a coin destroys its natural surface and reduces its value instantly in the eyes of collectors. Always handle it carefully by the edges and store it in a dry environment. If you believe your coin has unusual toning or looks different from normal circulation coins, compare it with certified examples or get it evaluated by a professional grading service. Sometimes what looks like damage might just be natural toning, but in most cases for this specific coin, Heavy black appearance is simply environmental effect, not rarity. Finally, the conclusion. The 1989 Washington quarter dollar may not be a hidden millionaire maker in most cases, but it still represents an important part of modern U.S. coin history. It reminds us that even the most common coins can attract attention when condition, appearance, and collector demand come into play. While your black-toned or ugly-looking quarter is likely not worth thousands, it still carries historical value and the curiosity of collectors who study these small differences every day. So next time you see a dull, dark, or worn-out 1989 quarter in your pocket, don't ignore it completely. Look at it carefully, because in the world of coin collecting, every detail tells a story. So here's the final truth. If you are ignoring your coins, you are ignoring potential money. And if you are serious about collecting, you need to start paying attention right now, not later. Because in this market, hesitation costs money, and knowledge creates wealth. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss updates like this. And whatever you do, don't skip the next video, because the next coin we reveal might be sitting in your pocket right now. Thanks for watching and happy collecting.